Hello, this is problem number 6 from section 12.3, and I'm going to show you how to use the StatCrunch to work on this problem. The data for set A and B listed in here, and here's the icon that I it would help me to copy it, so I would click on the icon, copy to clipboard. And then this is already selected, so I have to say control copy, go to StatCrunch. Now you notice there is a label in here. If there is a label, then when you copy, you have to make sure you go to the label. Right now, I'm down here in here, but I have to go all the way to the label and then paste. By doing that, the label would be A for the first data and then B for this one, and the data should be typed in the cells. So this is 58648. You can see for data set A 58648. Make sure the data is copied correctly. So this looks good. And if you paste it in here, let's say like this, the label would be pasted there, and that's not right. And anyways, if you want to undo something, say Control V, it will undo whatever you did. So basically, this is good now. I need to find the standard deviation for set A, set B. And then I'm going to StatCrunch, Stat, Summary Stat, column. If I want to do both set at the same time, I can just click on this, then hold the control key and then choose B. This way you can do both. The other option is to just do A and then shift B. It will pick both of them. So you want to do both at the same time. You can do it separately if you want to, but this would be faster. The mean, the standard deviation already selected, and some other information. So just click on compute, and here is for set A, mean, standard deviation. Set B, mean, standard deviation. So I need the standard deviation. You can just copy this, control copy, then paste it in here, and then round it to the nearest hundredth. So you can just go down here. Since I want to cut it in here, and then 8 is more than 5, so you're going to increase this by 1 unit. So that would be 9, 1.79. Going back to StatCrunch, so that's 1.79. For set B, it's this number, control copy, control paste. This one, we're going to round it to also nearest 100. So I'm going to go down here. 7 is more than 5, so you're going to increase the last 1 to 1. So that would be this. Now continue. To find coefficient of variation, we need to look at the data again. Anytime we need to find coefficient of variation, divide the standard deviation by mean. So my standard deviation is this number. I'm just going to copy the whole thing. I can show you how to calculate this using Desmos. So go to Desmos and paste it. That's my standard deviation. The value for mean is 6.2. So I'm going to copy this and then divide it by. So standard deviation divided by mean, and then multiply times 100. Times 100. Okay, so standard deviation divided by mean times 100, that's coefficient of variation. I'm going to copy this right now into my um, answer box, and they want us to round it to nearest hundredths. Sorry, they want us to round it to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to do it. Okay, nearest tenth is 5 or more. I have to increase this one by 1. So I'm going to make it 9. And now I'll do for set A, B the same thing. Standard deviation, copy, go to decimal, and then paste, divided by, and then the mean for set B is this number, and then paste it, then multiply by 100. Now this one again, I want to round it to nearest 10. So 5 is more than 5 or more, you're increasing this by 1. So I'm just going to copy this, paste it, and I'm going to increase it by 1 because this was 35.05, so that makes it 38.05. So 38.1. Let's see if that's good. Continue. Which sample has the higher dispersion? Higher dispersion means higher standard deviation. Set B has a larger standard deviation, so that would be set B because it has higher standard deviation. That means larger standard deviation means higher dispersion. There's more spread. And then which sample has higher relative dispersion? Relative dispersion is coefficient of variation, V. And apparently B is larger than A in here for relative coefficient of variation. So B would have higher relative dispersion. And they're not necessarily always, like in this case, both set B has a larger standard deviation and also larger coefficient of variation, but it's not necessarily always like this. They could be one, they could change. So the problem you're doing might be different. Okay, so that was number 6. Number 7, I'm going to do similar exercises. Okay. For this one, we need to subtract 20 from each data for each item, and then find the mean for the new sample. So let's copy this to clipboard. Here it is copied, but there's no label. And first I have to say Control Copy. Go to StatCrunch. Now, you could use the same StatCrunch as before. You don't need to open a new one. You could open a new one. If you want to use this old one, close this one to get it out of your way. You could clear this column if you want to, or you can keep it. It's your choice. Let's say I want to keep it for right now, and I can paste it anywhere I want. I can paste it here, in this column, or this column. It really doesn't matter. I'm just going to paste it in here. So it would be a distance between these. But since it doesn't have label, I'm not going to go here. If there was a label, I go here. But since there's no label, I go here and paste. You can see all my data in here, 43 all the way to 36. And then let's check that, 43 all the way to 36. And when you checked it and it's good, Now we need to subtract 20 from each item. So if you want to subtract 20, you can just do it by hand. 43 minus 20, that would be 23. You can type it in here and just type 23. That's one option. But the other option is to let um, the StatCrunch do all of them for you, so that would be faster. Now, to do that, you go to Data, Compute, Expression, Build. Now you're building your expression. So what I want is this column, which is var5. So double click, it will type it in here. Then minus. You can put minus from the keyboard, or you can put minus from here. 20. Just type 20. 20. And then you double check. It says subtract 20 from each item. So that means subtract 20 from each item in var5. So that's good. Okay. Compute. It says new column, var5 minus 20 is added. So close this. So 43 minus 20 is 23, 24 minus 20 is 4, and you can see that's our new column. This is the one that they want us to use to find mean. So I'll use this column. So the way I'm going to use the mean, I go to Stat, Summary Stat, Column. Now the column I want is this last column, var5 minus 20. When you click on that, it's going to show up in here. Mean and standard deviation are already selected, so compute. So you can see column var5 minus 20. Mean is this number. Then I'll type it in here. Round it to the nearest 100. So that makes it, because 2 is less than 5, so you don't increase it. That should be good. And then the standard deviation is already here, which is this number. Copy, paste, and that rounded to the nearest hundredths. So that would be, again, 2 is less than 5, so I'm just going to keep it like that. Okay, so now here is number 8, question number 8. For number 8, it's similar to the previous one, except this time they want us to multiply them by 3. So I'm going to go to copy to clipboard. Here's the copy. It's selected, but you have to copy that, so control copy. There's no label. So since there's no label, when I go to StatCrunch, again, you can close this one, you can open a new one. If you want to use this one and you don't want to open a new one, you can clear this column if you want to. Clear column, clear this column. You can type it in here, paste it in here. Again, if there's no label, go to the cell and paste it. So paste it into the cell. 12 all the way to 34, double check it. 12 all the way to 34, mean. But before I find mean, I have to multiply each item by 3. So again, I can say 3 times 12 is 36. Type them in here by hand. The other option is go to Data, Compute, Expression, Build. Now, the column I want is called var1. So choose var1, double click. It should be typed in here. You want to multiply it by 3. So put times 3. So var1 times 3. Okay, compute. And it says it multiplies it by 3 and it's been added. They added this in here, so I'm going to just copy and paste them in here. I mean, it doesn't matter where it is. It's located in here. They put it in here. So 12 times 3 is 36, 20 times 3 is 60, and so forth. If you want to see it better, let me copy them. Copy, paste it in here. It doesn't matter where it's located. Now I have it 2 places, here and here. So I just wanted to make sure I double check to make sure they are good. So these are good. 3 times each item would be listed in here. This is the one I need to find the mean, because it says mean for the new data. So make sure when you go to stat, summary stat, column, make sure you choose this column, var1 times 3. So, or you can choose var2. If you notice in here, var2 is also var1 times 3. I can choose either one of them. I'm going to choose var2, and then mean is already listed, compute. So the mean for var2, which is var1 times 3, is this number, and I'm going to paste it, round it to the nearest cent. So I'm going to move it, 8 is more than 5, so I'm going to change it to 3. So that's $63.43. And standard deviation, again, I have it down here. And then paste it here. This would be also nearest cent. So that would be, again, 5 is, because if it's 5 or larger, you increase it by 1. So that makes it 3 cents. So that would be the answer. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so I'm going to stop right now, and then I'm going to make more videos for the rest of the problems in this section.